All right, so we're going to talk about the friends element deep knowing. Now, this was an area that we personally struggled with when our marriage was struggling. And as we put time and energy into it, it gave us some of the best result,
Yeah,
right?
it's funny to think that after 10 years of marriage, when we were about to get divorced, that we
Yeah,
realized that we just didn't really know each other, or we didn't get to continue to know each other. We didn't
right.
keep knowing each other, if that makes sense,
Right.
right?
And if we think about it, really being known um, is one of our deepest desires as people. And so to be known and to be seen and also to be accepted for who you are just as you are is a really powerful thing to have in life, but it is crucial in a marriage. And so Lance and I, like any couple, right, really got to know each other in the beginning. But once the beginning was over, especially once we had kids, we didn't continue to take a deep dive into where we came from, our childhoods, our history, like, getting to know each other like you would a new friend, or while you're dating. And so it really just stopped. It stopped. But then what also stopped is getting to know who we were becoming and who we were evolving into. Like, I know for me, I change a lot. And so if I'm not in communication with you and you're not curious about me, he doesn't really know what's going on inside of me, and what new desires and new passions are coming up for me. And so there's two parts to this.
Yeah, and I tell men a lot too, study your wives. And that can mean a lot of things, right? You hear people mention, Gary Chapman's five love languages, right? To
Mhm.
know your spouse's love language, to speak their love language, because, if you study any of that at all, if you're, speaking to your spouse the love language that you receive, then but they might not be hearing you. You're not speaking
Correct.
their love language. So deep knowing, a part of that is knowing their love language. Studying what makes Brandy tick. It's really vital. I think a lot of men, I don't know, maybe this is true for women and you could speak on this, but men, they don't really truly get to know their wives in a real, I don't want to say intimate way, but a real deep knowing friendship kind of
I
way.
think it is intimate, and not
Yeah,
intimate in the sexual
right.
way, but intimate in a vulnerable, um, connecting way.
Well, I remember one time, when things were not going well, and I was really into guitars, and I knew everything about guitars. I could tell you all the brands, makes, models, all the little parts, and how big the parts were, and how to change the parts out, and
And he
and
was
all this
always
sort of stuff.
buying
All
new
buying
ones.
guitars, and I knew everything about guitars. I had this real deep passion, and she said, if you knew, 1/10 about me, what you know about guitars, this marriage would be a hell of a lot better. And I suddenly was like, whoa, I get
Mhm.
this now. And so I began the journey of really getting to know Brandy. Even things like your cycles and stuff like that, has
Yeah.
been a big part of the deep knowing journey for the two of us.
Right. And so it goes both ways. And, another practical tip. So, one practical tip is love languages, like understanding love languages. Another practical tip is asking questions, having, so when our marriage was struggling and we really wanted to deepen our friendship with each other, we had this hat that we would keep in our bedroom, and we either take it out to the patio if we had a date night out there, or use it, wherever we were. And we would pull these questions out of the hat. And we had just gone on Pinterest, and we have another course, a date night course, that has a lot of this in it. But go on Pinterest, find a list of questions, throw ones in there in a hat, and you just would pull them out. And what was interesting is that there were things about you that not only did I not know, but were incredibly fascinating. And the more I got to know him, and the more I got to laugh with him and share in his experiences of growing up, or things that he would noodle on and be into as a kid, still along the lines of music, a lot of it. It's true. um, the closer we felt. And and as you saw some of the earlier videos, when we talk about the elements, this piece right here, this friendship piece, is so imperative to build in order to have a long lasting, ongoing intimacy, right up in the lovers area in your relationship. When you feel safe and known and heard and loved, right, for exactly who you are, um, that kind of stuff naturally comes to be. Another great thing, practical tip again, is personality tests are really helpful in this area. I mean, we've taken many of them. I mean, we've done Tony Robbins, we've done astrology, we've done strengths finders,
Enneagram.
Enneagram, like we know our numbers on all the things. And but what's interesting is you start to see threads. And even if you just do one where you go through it, and if it doesn't resonate, you throw it out. Again, try list, throw it out and try another one and find personality tests that resonate with you guys, where you're like, oh my gosh, okay, so this is a part of your personality. This is a quirk that you have. This is, you know, unique to you. And then this is unique to me. The other benefit of doing a personality test is strengths. And so, you know, in the partnership area, we talk about roles and the importance of roles and what am I good at and what are you good at? You know, personality tests are really important for that.
Yeah, and so many of you couples that might be watching this right now might feel very disconnected. And so we would, you know, highly suggest and advise that you do start simple. Like Brandy talked about drawing questions out of a hat. You know, one of the great things about, you know, building the principle of deep knowing is that it just builds conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It helps you to build your communication skills so that you can begin to have the more challenging conversations later on in your relationship.
Yes.
So there's a great section in John Gottman's book, The 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work, where he just gives all of these questions, you know, to ask each other, you know, where was I born? Who are my 2 best friends? You know, things like that. Getting to really, to truly know, so you need to understand those types of questions. Google questions, simple questions, table topics, are all great places to search for simple questions to ask each other so that you can truly just get to know one another, build those conversation skills so that you can be stronger at your communication down the road when things maybe either get spicy or, you know, you need to get vulnerable and whatever, you know. So
this is how you practice.
Yeah, and so the deep knowing principle is vital to growing your friendship so that you can move into building that lover's element down the road.
Exactly.